Hi, I'm Amanda Joyce.
And I'm Devin Hayes, and today we're going to be talking about where marketing ends and sales begins, and here's why you should care. Understanding the role that each department plays can improve efficiencies and your conversion rate. So with that, let's dive in. Welcome to Trade Secrets, where we demystify digital marketing to help contractors get the most bang for their marketing bucks.
This is for you if you're a contractor looking for actionable marketing insights.
Learn from home services industry experts to elevate your business through simplified marketing strategies.
Let's dive into today's trade secret. Okay, well, before we really dive into the topic, I feel like we'd be remiss to not talk about RSS a little bit, or the Roofing Success Summit.
Yes, we were in Breckenridge. The Roofing Academy, they always put on a great summit, expo, conference, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Randy Brothers and the whole team over there. They did an amazing job.
Amazing job. It was in Breckenridge this year, and they had a lot of brilliant speakers and a lot of the best marketing minds, in the industry. Some really, really talented people up there. And I was lucky enough to be on a panel with them, and which was an honor because, those guys are great. And Leah at the Roofing Academy, she's on the panel as well. So there was a great conversation, and kind of some of the next few podcasts are going to come from the questions that came from the audience at the Roofing Success Summit. And one of them, it was a great question, and it was, what was it? It was like, when does the lead go from marketing to sales? What's that relationship? And kind of the confusion of, when is it a marketing qualified lead versus a sales qualified lead? That kind of thing.
Exactly. And then I feel like it turned into a much bigger conversation that I thought it was one of the more powerful things that was even discussed when you guys were up there on the panel, and we both agree that it's really great information for any contractor at any level of the growth of their business to understand.
Yeah, because really it's, I think what's really common and that we hear a lot is that there is some tension between sales and marketing.
And we felt it before too.
Yes, definitely have felt it. So it was a great conversation, and while there's a succinct answer to say, well, marketing gets the leads in the door, and then sales needs to convert them. That's an easy answer, but that's like the succinct, most precise answer. But the real answer is that marketing touches literally every department in a business. It touches operations, it touches production, it definitely touches sales, and all of the communication between each department, they all need to think of themselves as marketers, because with sales, what are the pushbacks they're getting from customers? Like, why aren't they converting leads if they're not converting? Or if they are converting them, why are they converting them?
Yeah, exactly. Or this is a great lead. Where did it come from? How did you guys get this? I want more of them. And that is gold for us as marketers. But when we're sitting behind a computer and we're counting leads coming in, we're looking at conversion rates, we're trying to maximize the impact of marketing, but we don't know whether X lead or Y lead was better. And that when we have that information, we're better. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And understanding where those leads come from, then we can drive more of them. And even I think the messaging can change in any kind of marketing activity. So, when you do have a raving fan, they're like, oh my gosh, they love the fact that we have this automated kind of in production CRM that sends these emails and these checkpoints, and thank you so much for communicating what's going on. I never felt like I was in the dark. Well, that's something that then marketing can take that and use that information to create some great messaging around that. This is what we do better while you're in, the production process. You'll get these touch points, so you're always aware of what's happening with the job.
Exactly. As I head up the content here, and that's the kind of gold I'm constantly trying to pull out of our clients and try to get them to tell me, understanding what's differentiating you in the marketplace, and then communicating that through your marketing messaging everyone wins at that point. At the end of the day, ideally, if all these people are talking to each other and sharing this information, everyone internally wins, the clients benefit as well. And it should ideally make marketing more efficient, but everyone's job's easier. If your clients are happy, you're communicating it properly, and it's all copacetic.
Yes, absolutely. And so with that, that constant communication between sales and marketing, I mean, I know that we struggle with that sometimes with our clients. Not sometimes, a lot of times it's really hard to get the information about, say, a project, a really cool project. And we know sales guys are busy, but what we as marketers wished the sales team would understand is like, do you love that project? It's giant. It's, it's got a great bottom line. Do you want more of those? Okay, well, tell us about that project, and that information we can turn into, we can turn it into video, we can turn it into blog, we can kind of turn that bit of content, turn it into a lot of different types of content in a lot of different formats, to attract more of those buyers. And so having kind of that like symbiotic relationship between sales and marketing is only going to help you drive more sales, drive more leads, qualified leads, and convert them. And, like going back to how marketing kind of touches all departments, that also goes for whatever is happening like in the operations department too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I loved hearing that. That was one of the things that came up on the panel. We started talking sales and marketing, and then suddenly operations came in there, and everyone was getting really excited about it, because it seems like people, even if they don't execute on the sales and marketing communication, they kind of know it needs to happen. And then there were a lot of people in the room that were like, how am I not doing this? Why am I not having my operations reach out to marketing and say, these are the commonly asked questions that we're dealing with all the time. Let's get some strong content around it. So sometimes somebody can answer their own question on the website without ever having to reach out and, not bother someone in operations, but take up that valuable time. And they feel good too. If they can hit the site, they're speaking to my needs, they're telling me what I need, I can move on with my day, and I don't have to pick up the phone and call and ask a question that could have easily been answered through effective content.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I heard this on the Contractor Evolution podcast. The guy from Company Cam was on there, and they were talking about, branding, but this ties into the marketing collateral piece. They're like, one of the most powerful pieces of collateral is just simply having like the process as like a handout to your customer. And so that's something that's collateral, but the messaging on that, like when a customer is sitting with you and you're selling to them and they're looking at maybe that piece of collateral, and it's talking about, the process, the construction process. What are their questions on it? Tell marketing so they can refine that piece of collateral to make your job of selling a lot easier. But Absolutely. It is true. That's like a super handy piece of marketing collateral. It's just really powerful. And again,
on that same note too, I'm sorry, I was going to say on that same note too, as someone who plans content all the time, it's so nice to get that, because it's much more enjoyable, to write content that speaks to that, but it's like the content works better. It's more fun for me to look at the analytics later and be like, wow, that piece that we planned and wrote 3 months ago is one of our stronger pieces all of a sudden, versus trying to go out and just kind of use search data and stuff to kind of guess what our clients are wanting to hear from us. Hearing that the people that are in the field talking to the ideal client in your market, that is the information that marketing needs to take and zhuzh and make pretty and make your life easier to close them, make operations life easier to service them. If they can say, oh, I've got some information on this, can I email it over to you right now? And they don't even have to go through it. They've got it canned and ready. Like, that's ultimately our goal as marketers. We want to help. And I do think sometimes that unspoken tension happens because everyone's siloed and they're too busy and they're too head down and they just want us to leave them alone. But at the end of the day, we're trying to be everyone's friend. We want to help them.
Yeah. And that's like, and that is like with sales, but then going back to how marketing touches all departments, if you're thinking about like, let's take a look at like, the social media marketing channel. It is so much more effective if we have pictures of like, I don't know, like a donut day at the office, or bring your little furry friend to work day. Like people buy from people, right? And so when you can humanize your brand and share that, but if you have a third party marketing company, or, if you're a sales guy and you go to a networking group and you bring donuts to everybody, like, how is your marketer going to know that unless you're sharing that and sending pictures and, sharing those updates to make the marketing more effective and to humanize the brand and to, again, reinforce that people buy from people, and trying to just get that messaging across. Because as marketers, without that info, especially like we're digital marketers, so we're just used to putting our heads down. We're like, what do the Google gods want today? And tying into that, today they want they want more stories. They are combating the chat GPTs of the world and AI content by really favoring stories and not just informational things. So the more stories we can tell, the better marketers we're going to be, and the more we're going to attract the customers that you already have by kind of sharing that information with us. So I think we had a great conversation with Joseph Hughes actually at the Roofing Success Summit. And he dropped that word like symbiotic. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard that since elementary school. You know, when you have like a big shark and the little fish that swims along and just like eats all the stuff off of it. It's true. It's a mutually beneficial, symbiotic relationship. And that's exactly how like marketing should be viewed, not just with sales, but with everybody in your company, every person in your company. If you can get them to buy into the idea that they're marketing as well, I think you're just going to have better content and better messaging and really have a better brand all around that really communicates who you are as a company and what your culture is. And that's what customers buy, you know?
Exactly. And if everybody could just be wearing that hat, so just kind of have that mindset so that if somebody calls in and has a question that they're like, oh, this is a great one. I got to make sure marketing is aware of this. Or somebody calls in or somebody gives a glowing review and or maybe they're only giving it to you over the phone and you're like, oh my gosh, we got to make sure you're giving us a Google review and I have to get you in contact with our marketing department because we'd love to do a spotlight on you. Like just that quick, just having that in the back of your mind so your brain goes there as somebody in operations can make all the difference in the world for the marketing team. And it's at the end of the, and they're their boots on the ground. So if you're training your team to think that way, even if it just means once a month during an all hands on board meeting, you have a quick 15-minute marketing session, talk about what we're doing, what we need. If that can kind of start getting people thinking that direction, I just feel like company owners are gonna be super stoked about what they're able to, judge or encourage there internally with their teams, and everyone's going to win. So
absolutely. Yeah. So our takeaway is this, where does marketing stop and sales begin? It doesn't. Everyone in your company should think of themselves as a marketer, and that is the answer. Symbiotic relationships, right? Like I don't know who the shark is. Yeah, shout out to Joe. I don't know who the shark is. I don't know who the little minnow is, but we all got to help each other, and that's what makes for the most effective marketing and makes for attracting more buyers with better messaging, because we're communicating, we know how to solve those problems. So I think that sums it up. I think we did it. Yeah, absolutely. We so appreciate you guys listening. We hope you found this impactful, and as always, let us know if you have any ideas or things you want us to cover, or let us know if you put this into practice and it's working for you. We'd love to hear from you. Absolutely. Thank you.
That was today's trade secret. Thanks for listening.
Did you find this helpful? We're just getting started.
Subscribe and don't miss our next reveal.
Until next time.